I met you, we talked, I think, 3 or 4 hours. And the next day I opened the company.
More than $6 million in today's
Yeah,
price.
and guess what? Do you know what happened to those bitcoins?
What happened?
I'm afraid of hearing it.
Yeah, basically I deleted.
Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of the RIV Podcast. Today's guest is Enrico Talin. Enrico is a seasoned entrepreneur. He has more than 20 years of experience. He's Chief Blockchain Officer at RIV Technologies, and he's the founder of Commercio.Network, which is one of the most important Italian blockchains. So welcome, Enrico.
Thank you very much.
So how did you start becoming an entrepreneur? What motivates you?
Well, actually, my father was an entrepreneur in the northeast part of Italy. He was very traditional, so nothing technology. He was a textile and apparel entrepreneur. And so I would say the genes are something that drove me to become an entrepreneur. So I went to study in the United States in New York, marketing and management. And in '94 I came back, and the first thing I did, I said, Dad, I want to make my own company. So my dad was like my first venture capital. He invested the first money, and I basically became a serial entrepreneur after that. So I created a technology company, and since the beginning I was always interested in technology. So I basically, everything I did was trying to create products for people. So having like a marketing background, you know that the most important rule of marketing is to do what people want. So I created a series of products for basically companies.
Actually, I know your story quite well, so maybe we will enter in the details later on in the episode. But what I think is important to understand is that you studied marketing in the years where marketing was born.
Yeah.
So you started working around web designs, websites, right in the boom. I think you were also one of the first in Italy to start providing companies web pages, everything around the internet that was like the blockchain of those years. It was something that was unknown. And so also you had a mission, and I think it was quite challenging to go to traditional entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, and talk them about this technology. So how was it? Like, how was the start? And then I know it was very successful at a certain point, but I imagine that at the start you faced some challenges in convincing these people about the future.
Well, it's kind of like a deja vu for me, because I did this 3 times. So I did this because in the 90s I was an internet entrepreneur, and in the 20s I was a mobile application entrepreneur, and in the 10 and the 20s basically I was a blockchain entrepreneur. So as you said, each cycle, because every decade has a very important technology. So in the 90s, everybody was like during when the web. So I was a pioneer, and was very difficult at the beginning. But as a pioneer, you end up having more knowledge about an early knowledge about the business. So whenever you're you're a pioneer, somebody that goes where there is not, it goes to the unknown. I mean, if you think about the pioneers in the United States, they're coming from the East United States, where everything was very known, and go to the West. Of course, a lot of pioneer died because of snake bites or things. So, and you need to be, of course, as a pioneer, very strong, and you need to develop a sense of what's working and what's not working. So I did 3 times in my career. So I did it for the internet, I did it for the mobile application, and I did it also for the blockchain. And each of the time I did it, okay, was difficult, but somehow more difficult. Like during the internet age, everybody was telling me the internet is not gonna work and nobody will use the email. And when I started doing the first B2B e-commerce, people said, all the entrepreneurs would like tell me, Enrico, you're like completely wrong track because nobody will ever put a credit card on the internet. Okay, so this is like 94. And 10 years later, when I started doing the application app and mobile application development, a lot of companies told me, I think you're like really like missing the point because nobody will ever spend $10,000 for a phone, for a smartphone. And I said, well, maybe they will. And the third time, also with the blockchain, at the beginning when I started, they said like nobody is gonna trust the blockchain and nobody will buy crypto or things like that. So every time in my career, I kind of like try to find something which is new, something that really challenged me, and I like it as a technology, but also I wanted to see potential. I saw potential on the web, I saw potential on the mobile development, and I'm seeing an untapped potential on the blockchain world.
I think that regarding the blockchain world, you were really a early adopter in the blockchain world. Was it also with the Web 2 world? So like in website creation, I remember you telling me that you created this office, removing the old equipment that was there from a classic marketing company which did printing and all the traditional marketing, by buying the first computers and start doing HTML development, and also it was not only challenges, but it was also rewards at a certain point because you had a good success in those years.
Yeah, the first Web 2 venture. Basically, at the beginning was a traditional marketing and printing company. So I bought for very little money a web printing and marketing company. But because I had like all the knowledge about creating content, but they had the wrong way because they were printing and using paper. So the first thing when I acquired this printing company, I sold the printing machine to a Turkish company. And they said, what are you doing? And we're like a marketing and printing company. And how are we gonna like do our brochures? And I told them, we're not gonna like print them. We're gonna put them in the web. And the next question, what is the web? Okay, so I spent 10 years of my effort for like to try to convince that the web was an expo that was open 360 days per year, 24/7, and that was very successful because we were probably like. We started like a web agency before there were the web agencies. So in 94, when everybody was just selling the connection, the dial-up connection, we started as a web agency only. This is like, think about 6 years before. And what we created an extremely successful and super profitable business. Why? Because I didn't have the printing cost. So I did create a brochure, but instead of printing in, I just put in the web. So it was like 100%, 1000% margin. So I created a super profitable business and very scalable business. And that was like probably one of the biggest success and the biggest growth that I couldn't replicate in the next years.
So was that the moment that was it the biggest accomplishment until now? Was that the moment you decided for sure you wanted to be an entrepreneur, like facing the challenges but seeing the rewards that came out of all the effort you put in? seeing the company grow, seeing your building grow, and having employees, and obviously money-wise, I think it was also successful at a certain point.
Well, yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, because basically it was very successful. No, because I had like the idea of becoming an entrepreneur while I was in the United States, because the internet, I got like to try the internet before anybody else in Europe, because I was in the 90s. I was in a university where before the internet became what we know today, the web, okay, the only place where you could experience the internet was a university. And during 90 to 94, I had like 4 years to play around with the internet, but there was not the web. The web was built during the time I was, and I kind of like feel bad because I feel a lot older if I'm saying this, but I saw the first web browser, which was Mosaic, okay, and did that like completely change, because I realized that this was probably gonna be the biggest marketing medium and will completely overshadow everything else. So the seeds of becoming an entrepreneur was during the university. And actually I was frustrated during these 4 years because I wanted to start a business down there, but I was like an Italian student in the United States, and they would arrest me if I started like doing business, so I didn't. So I waited until I came back to Italy, and as soon as I got to Italy, as I told you, I got this the business started. So let's say that the idea started before to become an entrepreneur, but then it materialized only in Italy, where I could, because I was an alien. I had like student visa. I could not work and do and create any business. It was different times, but not advisable.
How was the US back in the day?
The US in the 90s, completely different from what we are seeing today. It was amazing. It was during the Clinton era, so a lot of fun times to be there. And I did like the old Clinton, and it was before, of course, 9/11. So it was a United States where you could go and take a plane like you take a bus now. You just like leave your
no security checks.
You just like the most amazing stuff was like you do curbside check-in. You go, you leave your like baggage on the side, and you go directly. You walk directly and pick up a plane. Something amazing. Okay, you were like even if you tell people, they don't believe it. Okay, you guys grow up in a way after 9/11. And I think the like being 4 years in the United States and talking with the people that actually created marketing, I had like Kotlin as one of the professor, and the people used to study Kotlin, and I actually met the guy, so it was like completely for me that I had like this marketing idea was absolutely crazy and amazing, but and that. I think that being in the United States and having the internet, that's what like kind of like changed completely my mind, because I knew that I needed to do something different. And only if you do something different and you defy what the status quo people tell you, you're not going to be able to do it. And when they tell you it's not going to happen, that is when basically
you have to push.
You have to push.
This is back in the day. This is a typical American mentality. So you brought this mentality to Italy, which is a whole different country and much more challenges in some ways. So
yeah, and that the time in the United States shape my brain in a way that you need to dare to win. You have to dare to win, and also another thing I learned is. It's better to innovate and maybe do something that breaks some eggs, but you still like do something completely new, and maybe it works, maybe not. And failure is part of is part of the game. So in Italy there was like the mentality that you cannot fail. Not in Italy, but in Europe in general, you have to be always successful. In the United States, the mentality that you have to try, you have to be bold, try to do something new, and guess what? If it doesn't happen, it's okay. You tried, and I was very lucky at first because I had like a lot of time to study, and the idea of getting the web done, I think was like very, very, very successful. I mean, I created a company that was like doing billions of liras. Okay, billions of lira because it was before the euro, but very, very successful. So my exit, my first exit was really, really successful.
That's great. And going back to the mentality, I think that we can still feel this mentality sometimes. It's not easy for people to just take a risk. Also, in periods like this where there is a lot of uncertainty, you don't know what is going to happen. Am I going to take the risk? Maybe I should stay with my secure job. That then how safe it is, you don't really know because you're always in the hand of somebody else. But I think that the mentality you explained is what is at the back of every entrepreneur. The not fear not to fail, fear not to risk, and maybe sometimes you really have to take a decision of going all in. I'm going to do only this, whilst sometimes you can say maybe I do my job and in the side I do something, I try. You have to get to a point where you say I want to risk it all, I'm going all in, and you have to be ready to fail. You don't have to be afraid to fail. That I think is what you learned in that mentality.
It's I think you absolutely got to the point that an entrepreneur is somebody that take a risk. Doesn't mean that somebody who is like plays with the casino. I mean every entrepreneur needs to do a risk. You can do like a risk means that you just like try to innovate and try to basically focus. So this is a risk. Try to do like sell the printing machine, which is very established, and put something that it's unknown, like switching from printing to web. It's a risk. But still, like you need to basically always kind of like play it safe. So maybe you do a very innovation in terms of what you do, but you need to be very financially stable. So you need to do this innovation, but have enough money in the bank to try to make this bet gain. So yes, you're doing bets, but needs to be cover bet. So it's not like a complete and total mindset where you just like risk everything. No, you need to risk in terms of that you need to do something new, but you have to play it safe with the amount of money you have to burn to do a specific innovation. So an entrepreneur is something that, and the mindset of the entrepreneur is something that absolutely take a risk, but on the other side of this bet, you need to cover it because you need to be able to completely go through with this bet. It's not something I mean, Davide, we know each other for a long time, and when you took your risk for your company, tell me, because you became for a period of time an entrepreneur, then you got of course acquired, so you did your own exit. But tell me about the feeling once you were like doing this.
It's I see a lot of what you said also in my story, because as you, I come from a family where my father is an entrepreneur, my grandfather was an entrepreneur. So since I was 7 or 8 years old, I had in my mind I want to be an entrepreneur, because I saw my father always busy on the phone. I said, I really want to be that busy. I really want to have people calling me and ask me advice. I want to be someone. I want to create my something. And so I had my job. I was working in the family company. I had my responsibility. I was successful in what I was doing, but I wanted to do something that I created. So that is what turned me on. I said I need to find my way. Then the way we met was quite curious because it was through an accountant that we both met. That he told me, if you like crypto, you have to meet this guy. He's the crypto guy you have to meet. And so the risk I took that time was quite an all-in for me, because I met you. We talked I think 3 or 4 hours, and the next day I opened the company. And a week later I was already with my first company open, and I started to try and steal in a good way all your knowledge, trying to understand more about blockchain, because what I understood in those 3 or 4 hours is that blockchain is not only crypto, because people usually associate the word blockchain to Bitcoin, the word Bitcoin to crypto. But what a lot of people don't understand is that blockchain is not just crypto. Blockchain is a technology. And in those couple hours where I was listening to you, I really understood there is a lot that can be developed here. There is a lot of use cases for blockchain technology in business. So the risk I took was quite high, but taking the risk is not enough. After the risk, you really have to dedicate time, energy. I remember, and you remember me working in a construction site all the week, and then on the Friday I would put my shirt on, my good shoes, and come to your office and just sit there and listen every Friday for over 1 year, listening, trying to understand, trying to acquire the knowledge. And then in the weekend I would stay there, study, and I would call you 100 times to have the explanations of things I couldn't understand. So the risk is the first part, I think. But after you get the risk, you take the risk, either you fail or either you try your best to do something and to be successful. That really takes energy, time, and as you said, there are 100,000 times you are sitting there frustrated and saying, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I have my friends outside having fun, partying, and I'm here Saturday night, 2 a.m. I ate a cold pizza on my desk, and what am I doing? Maybe it's not the right thing. And those are the moments that you have to push. Those are the moments that you have to go hard and say, no, I want to do it, I will do it, and you stay there to do it. Another important thing, I think, that was really helpful for me was having you as a teacher, as a mentor, because I really understood a lot around blockchain. Skilled people around blockchain, there aren't a lot. There are a small amount of people really skilled around blockchain that are not promoting or creating scams. Because skilled people around blockchain, one of the easiest thing to do is to create a scam. Create a system to bring people inside, promoting fancy terms and fancy things, just using words, right? Whilst what you did was to create something useful, connecting the real world with the centralized world. That was really, really astonishing. So another advice that I feel like to give to guys that are listening to us or are searching some tips around entrepreneurship is find yourself a mentor. That mentor doesn't necessarily be someone you know and you can talk to. A mentor can also someone that you read about, someone that you listen in podcast, because having a point in your life, someone that you can get inspiration from and you can find your answers to some situation is really, really important. I was really lucky to meet someone like you that obviously I created my own company together with you, with an idea we had together. I put my time, you gave me a lot of support. It was an agreement that we created, and then there was the exit, and the exit allowed me to be here where I am now in Dubai, and we are still working together. We are still here together, talking about blockchain and creating, at least with RIV Academy, something that can really amplify what we talked about all those Fridays together, trying to make normal people understand what blockchain really is, what this crypto is, what is this revolution really is. And it's not a dream, it's something that is real.
Well, I like what you said, because actually I did it like in the 90s, and you did it. So I did it for the first generation. I did it 3 times. I told you about the web, the mobile, and the blockchain. So I did it 3 times, and the minimum things that I needed to do is basically try to share the knowledge and everything. But the point is that that's a major problem, because the knowledge that I needed to gain to do a business was, let's say, 10. The knowledge you need to have, like, for a mobile application, let's say it's 100. And unfortunately, the knowledge you need to gain for doing a blockchain business is 1,000. So that's something that you cannot basically you cannot do a business that has to do with blockchain unless you have a really strong knowledge about the medium. And all the people are web native, digital native, so they don't need to learn and learn anything about the web of the mobile world, because they're already born with the web and the mobile, and people actually don't use the computers, they just use the mobile to do. And but in order to be successful as an entrepreneur, and in general as a crypto entrepreneur, you need to understand in a more deep and not let's say shallow way the blockchain, because unfortunately we live in a time which is completely more complex, really like in 10 order of magnitudes more complex, and you need to basically get the minimum knowledge that you need to be successful as a crypto entrepreneur is basically you cannot find it almost anywhere. Actually, I met Guido through the MIT,
Yeah.
and I mean, I think like the MIT curriculum is very strong. What you taught, it's very
Yeah.
strong. But I want to ask you, Guido, what is basically the MIT is more academic version, and the academy is more like, let's say, it's a mix of entrepreneur and knowledge. So it's a simple version of the MIT. And like more like business oriented, like and things like that. So I'm asking you, what is right now? What do you find so much difference between the MIT course and the RIV Academy course, and what was like working and not working? Can you?
Yeah,
tell
I
me?
think the main difference is the target audience.
Okay.
Of course, people that do courses at MIT, at Harvard, are not the same people that do courses for RIV Academy. So first of all, the way of explaining things are different. For example, what we are doing in RIV Academy is to simplify all these concepts, which are very, very hard to understand for people that don't have a background as engineers. So I think what we are doing in the academy, the entire way of teaching is completely different. of course, with courses like the one of the MIT, you can use either in the way you speak. You can be more academic in the way you speak. No? So in a certain sense, it's more tailored toward executives, top managers, business people. So first of all, the target audience determines the way you teach. So I think the way you teach is also different according in the two ways. And also with RIV Academy, it's we propose an entirely new way of giving the content to the people, which is much more engaging, much more which contributes to explain in a simple way what we are saying. So I think that the most important thing is just who are you speaking with, and to tailor the way you speak according to the person that you are speaking.
So basically you're saying that you're taking very complex knowledge, and basically you're like you're like explaining in a simpler way, but the topic is the same topic as MIT. The only thing that is explained in a different way that is more like, let's say, Instagram-like.
Yeah, the topic is the same. It's just the way you present the topic is different. Then, of course, MIT does these courses that are 2 months long, while with the academy you can be more free also to explore more complex topics in detail. You can do many courses on many different things, create an offering which even from the price perspective is
it's much more affordable to normal people. Yeah. What the aim of Academy is to create a high value course for normal people, because blockchain technology, as we know because we work in it, you created your own blockchain, we are creating a lot of products around the blockchain, is really, really complex to create. So how can normal people who are not experts and don't want to become experts, because someone like my mother won't become a developer in the blockchain space, but she might want to buy some crypto, invest in some crypto, understand how crypto works. So courses of RIV Academy are tailored for the normal people, taking really, really complex topics, making them simple in short videos to be able to keep an attention high and the users engaged. And as Guido said, the price point is also balanced for our audience.
Also, the way now people learn is completely different from the way I learn, for example, and from the way you learn. The Gen Z, which I really love Gen Z, I think they're great, they're fantastic. But the way they learn is completely different. All digital, like they learn in short, their attention span is lower than our attention span. So they really focus, their learning is to focus for 3-4 minutes and then like going back to see what they learn. So the RIV Academy content, the way in which we speak and provide the content is tailored to those people in particular, or the young generation.
I think that, I have a Gen Z child, so I have a 16-year-old boy. And basically, as a matter of fact, his attention span is the same as a CEO. So now CEOs, like multinational, I speak with a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of managers for of course the business I do, and I find the same that the same. So basically, I'm thinking about it that was for you guys that created something for a Gen Z. He might be repurposed also for like manager, because when I explained the internet in the 90s, people didn't have any knowledge, but I was trying to explain, and I said like email is like mail, normal mail, but you don't have the postman, and it's all electronic. And I did when I explain a mobile application, I said it's like a computer but it's smaller, and you have to do everything without the keyboard and things like that. I had a major difficulty explaining the blockchain. So honestly, I don't think that people can, like normal people, can either create companies or even like interact with the blockchain in a safe way if they do not have the let's say the minimum knowledge about it. And it's exactly like the boomers, like my son tells. I don't consider myself a boomer because I'm like, I know everything about the technology, and I'm very proud because a lot of times my son asks me about all this information about the crypto, about the social media and things like that, but because it's my work. So basically I do that as a job, so I am like still a reference. And it's crazy, a 54 years old guy that have like a 16 years old that ask him something. I'm like probably the most envy father of all my friends, because I play video games and I'm like crypto, so I'm like the envy of all the fathers. But honestly, I think you are like you two guys from the both side, and you brought the two experience together. Guido, I think you have got like this MIT kind of like importance of what the topics and the quality of the topics, and you, Davide, brought the Gen Z attention span. So honestly, I think that you created a product which is not only interesting per se, but is necessary. So it's a condition sine qua non, okay, to use Latin, okay? So that basically I cannot sell anything unless you have the basic knowledge. So I actually pray for the success of RIV Academy, because if you guys are not successful in bringing the blockchain to the mass and blockchain knowledge to the people, you only gonna have scams. Because the easiest access is to listen to the gurus, the Dubai gurus, and basically you are like the anti-establishment of in Italy we call it Fufa guru, means like kind of what is the name? I don't know if there is a name in international, but you have these people that like telling you that you will become rich. And this is like something that does not happen, because when it's too good to be true, not true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Enrico, we went over all your past experience. Now let's come to the hot topic. The hot topic is your experience in crypto. I consider you one of the godfather of the crypto world. And so when did it all start? Where did you start with crypto? When did you see your first Bitcoins? Or where did it all start? When?
Well, actually for me, crypto started when crypto started. Because basically I was reading the Satoshi paper. I was in the famous mailing list, and I received the Satoshi paper through this mailing list. And the first time I read it, I said it's not gonna work. Absolutely, it's not gonna work. And then what happened? It did work. So they actually pull it off, and they start doing the C++ core application. And this is like a kind of like a painful story for me, but I started mining Bitcoin because I was able to compile the application, the Bitcoin application on my Macintosh. and I start mining Bitcoin very, very early. So I'm telling you how early, because I was like mining Bitcoin with the CPU. Means that I was using just my computer, not like specific. And during the period that I started getting interested in Bitcoin, I actually was able to mine 100 Bitcoins. And
how much time did it take to mine 100 Bitcoins with
was
your
like
CPU?
with the CPU was like around like 3-4 months. I got like 100 Bitcoins. So
It's incredible. It's
yeah.
like more than $6 million in today's
yeah.
price.
And guess what? Do you know what happened to those Bitcoins?
What happened?
I'm afraid of hearing it.
Yeah, basically I deleted. Because at the time the Bitcoin was worth nothing. So I
You
actually
purposely canceled.
no. Basically, what happened is that I had it in my computer, but what we did, in our company, I always got the last Macintosh. So whenever there was like a G3, G4, whatever, G5, and then Intel Mac, I was always getting the last. And what I did, I always basically format this before passing. So unfortunately, I didn't purposely cancel it, but over the period of the years, I got like these 100 Bitcoins and are somewhere. I couldn't find it. I spent a decade, 10 years to find where, but I couldn't find them. So I lost them forever.
So actually, when you lost them, they weren't worth a lot.
Nothing, almost nothing.
But now they would be more than $6 million
Yeah.
US dollars. So crazy. It's like the story of the guy that bought a pizza for 10,000 Bitcoins. Some people say he's stupid. He was crazy. I think that he did a really, really important thing because he was the one that demonstrated that Bitcoin had a value and you could use Bitcoin as you use cash. So yeah, it's a sad story of you losing 100 Bitcoins, but this experience didn't stop you. So you met the most successful people in the crypto ecosystem.
Yeah, because after the beginning was only a technology thing. So I just got interested in Bitcoin from the technology point of view. Then after I bought back my first Bitcoins, it was like years later. And then I started basically understanding and I kind of became a Bitcoin maximalist. So I was really, really into Bitcoin in the beginning. And I didn't met a lot of people in the Bitcoin world because everybody was kind of I don't know how to say it, but little bit sociopathic behavior. So whatever you do and whether you say something about Bitcoin, basically you're kind of you're asking for getting people insult you in many ways. So I did it a couple of times and then I gave up. And what happened is that after Bitcoin, I found about a new project that I was really, really interested. And so I took a plane and I went to Shanghai at one of the first Ethereum conference. At the time, I met a very, very unassuming guy that was really shy, and I met Vitalik, and it was very brief, okay. And I think I have also a picture of the time. It was very, very. Let me 1 second.
I think Vitalik is. I really love his story. Vitalik was able to create something that the Bitcoin maximalist wouldn't accept, starting to write in forums, also getting maybe insulted of his ideas, but it turned out his idea was one of the best, trying to use Bitcoin, blockchain also for other stuff, not only for Bitcoin.
I think that the most influential person for me was Vitalik, because by the way, this is the picture me and Vitalik in Shanghai conference. This is pretty crazy. But what I learned at the conference was basically that blockchain can be used for something, and that for me became a mind virus. Yes, sure, Bitcoin cool, nice, digital gold first, banking and everything. Interesting, but somehow limited. Then I saw the potential of the blockchain, and actually I started thinking about doing something with the blockchain when I met Vitalik and I listened to the whole Ethereum concept that is the computer, the internet computer. And at the time, then I invested a little bit in Ethereum, so I was very lucky because I got like very early in the game. And the most important thing that I could understand that the blockchain could be used for something which is not only the exchange of value, which is the Bitcoin. So
when did you can we know the price you bought Ethereum the first time? Is something that you can share?
$2.
$2. So yeah, pretty crazy, right? Yeah. I think that it's a dream for a lot of people. But
no, 2.5 actually.
It was the first ICO, right? When you had to
yeah,
send Bitcoin and receive.
I wasn't like exactly in the pre-sale, but was very
early.
Very early. So I didn't participate to the because at the time I was completely interested in crypto, but only always on a kind of like, what can I do with this? And so I started like doing, but still Ethereum wasn't like let's say usable for the business. So I kind of like took a few years later, then I started thinking about using the blockchain. So I was still like a software entrepreneur, so I couldn't really make a business case for the blockchain.
Also, going back quickly to the $2.5 price, no? You know, people say, oh, if I could, if I bought Ethereum at $2, I would be a billionaire right now. I think the truth of the matter is different, because if you buy Ethereum at $2, let's imagine after a year, what was a couple thousand has become $1 million. What are you gonna do? You're gonna keep it or you're gonna sell it? Then you are strong, you keep it. It becomes 10 million. Then it becomes 20 million. So people that say, if I bought Bitcoin at $1, I would be a billionaire. For me, it's a complete lie, because it's almost, there are some cases, but it's almost impossible that someone wouldn't sell it, because the uncertainty that this puts in people position. I invest 1,000, I have 100,000. Are you seriously not gonna sell it? So if someone tells me I bought Ethereum at $2 and I did a cash out, I don't know, at 200,000, I would have done the same.
Well, I think that, for example, in my case, I cash out and I reinvest everything. So I was basically all in. So I got like the gain. I reinvested the gain I got from Ethereum in what is currently my current company. So I funded thanks to the price of increase of Ethereum.
I remember that you also mined Ethereum for a period of time in a quite it was quite an interesting situation, the one you created.
Absolutely, because basically it was the time that when I started mining Ethereum was like the GPU era. I couldn't do it with the CPU, unfortunately, so not with the computer. And there was the time there were like no available gaming cards. So what I did, I took a plane and went to Taiwan, and I bought a luggage worth of cards, and I got them, and we started mining, and we got like a group of people, 25 people that like got this, and it's called like crypto rabbits, because basically we built the first mining rigs that used to look like a rabbit cages. Okay, so we called ourselves the group Crypto Rabbits, and it was like 25 people that like each bought these few cards, and we got like mining together because it was like very difficult to set up. But I learned a lot during. I never touched the computer hardware so much as that period, because we were like every day trying to lose heat and air conditioning. So I learned a lot about crypto just like by physically doing this.
And was it proficient in that? Because right now mining is not always proficient, because obviously the hardware costs rise, energy costs rise, and also, as you said, there is a heating problem. So you also have to take in consideration the cooling system and all the expenses that go around mining. But I think it was really proficient in that era that you were doing, in those years that you started mining Ethereum.
Well, basically what we did is to try to make use of the heat. So we set up the mining rigs in a factory that needed a lot of heat. So we put a bus fan that, instead of like trying to cooling, we put basically to extract the hot air from the very, very heated room, and we put it back in the room that was very, very cold. So we were like probably the most expensive heating system ever invented. And during the summer we do the opposite. We just like switch and put it back to the outside outside. So we extracting the heat. And I remember a lot of birds like flying through and just like getting roasted. So we were like in the Venetian region. Birds basically always get roasted. All kind of birds get roasted, and all the birds passing by the room was like really get roasted. Very, very funny. And I think that was like super interesting.
Crazy. And then after Ethereum, so second generation, you stepped in third generation. That as we teach in our courses, I really like, and you taught me this the first time, is something that a lot of people don't talk about, and it's the scalability between the different generations. So the first generation, which is Bitcoin, has a scalability which is limited horizontally and vertically, because Bitcoin is an ecosystem where people can only exchange Bitcoin. Whereas then the second generation as Ethereum allows projects to create their own blockchain based on Ethereum. So it becomes like a building where every floor is a new project, and all the projects can talk between them in the same building. But then with third generation, we have like a city. It's like an ecosystem where you can build a lot of buildings, houses, and everybody can connect with each other and can exchange information between different blockchains. So the scalability with the third generation vertically has obviously maybe a technological limit, but you can go horizontally and go around that limit that is a limit that vertical scalability has. Also then energy-wise, it's a smarter way, the proof of stake, and then obviously Ethereum switched also to proof of stake consensus. So what was the moment that you were attracted, or you shifted from Ethereum to a third generation blockchain?
Well, I was always like, since the beginning, I was a multi-chain maximalist. Okay, so I always thought that because at the time there was like this big debate between Bitcoin maxis and Ethereum maxim. And also like within Ethereum there was like a chasm because it was divided with Ethereum Classic and everything. So since the beginning I always said that blockchain is not like Game of Thrones. This is not something that you only have one winner. And I always believe that's actually the opposite. So I think there should be like like the internet, which is the powers of the internet is the fact that there are many networks interconnected. And so I believe, and I strongly believe in the power of the interchain, because it's not like only one single chain that is more powerful than the other, but many, many, many chains. So as a matter of fact, I was the moment I kind of like changed my mind was in another DevCon, which was in Cancun, okay? And at the time, I met Jay Kwon, the founder of Cosmos. And at the beginning, I just like said, I was very, very into Ethereum at the time. So 2017, I was like really, really super focused on Ethereum. And I said, if I ever gonna build something, definitely gonna do with Ethereum. But I met Jay Kwon, and I heard for the first time the proof of stake, but not like a proof of stake that is going to be, but actually working concept of blockchain proof of stake, which was Tendermint at the time. And then like I kind of like decided, I said, okay, if I'm gonna do something, we're gonna do it probably on a third generation, because Jay had like, they were already talking about putting proof of stake, about doing IBC, and about doing like an SDK that will allow anybody to build their own chain, what you refer as like a horizontal scalability. So instead of having like one single blockchain that does it all and can like scale better, you have like different blockchain all one next to each other. And so we were like at Cancun, and I was like drinking a Bloody Mary, and then like I was kind of like a little bit more
tipsy.
More to say the least. Okay, I said okay, and then like I kind of realized that I want kind of like got the idea of Commercio.Network there, but it was only an idea. But I decided that I was gonna do it on a Cosmos, but mostly because I was really into proof of stake, because having consumed so much energy, it's kind of a karma thing. I mined so much and wasted so much energy, then I kind of like felt guilty, and I said, if I ever gonna do something, I'm going to do it in a proof of stake. Guido, I know that you're like also very let's say fond of proof of stake. We talked many times about it. Why do you think that proof of stake is so much better than proof of work?
Many reasons. First of all, also the environment, the impact of proof of stake, which is much less than proof of work, the cost, the efficiency,
the speed also.
The speed, which is very in proof of work, you need a lot of energy to validate a block on the blockchain. While proof of stake and Cosmos is very, very fast. I think that if you want to bring blockchain to the enterprise, to the mass adoption, faster protocols like proof of stake are essential. So I think it's great. It's much better.
It has three advantages basically, because you have like the SDK that allows you to build anything you want. Then you have like the inter-blockchain protocol that allows you to be multi-chain from the start. And third, the proof of stake that works.
Also, the idea of building ecosystems of different blockchains. So every project has its own blockchain, but still it can communicate with other blockchains. So this idea, I think it's very disruptive.
And it's also cool because basically you can actually build in one chain. And then if for some reason your project is more successful than the chain you're in, you can like move out.
Move out. Yeah.
Like you're like in a small room, in a small house, then like on a small office. And if this office is too small, you just like get another office. That's the beauty of kind of like Cosmos. As a matter of fact, there are two technologies. One is Cosmos, the other one is Polkadot. But Cosmos is more like free, and you can do anything. And also there are like other interesting technologies like Optimism.
All the L2 of it.
Yeah, but a general idea is not to completely focus on the technology and focus on what serves the purpose of what you want to do. So you have to select the best technology available at the time. And that's about it. So
I think that it all comes down to what you want to do. Because also Polkadot, I think it's a great project. Actually, I had the pleasure to meet Gavin Wood. We were together in Switzerland at a Polkadot event. And
you have a picture?
I should search it.
I think I have the picture.
Yeah, we were together, and Gavin is curious because he comes from Ethereum. He was a co-founder of Ethereum, so also he decided to create his own project, and I think I don't see a lot of competition between Polkadot ecosystem and Cosmos ecosystem because they are meant for different things. Cosmos is a really open-minded community where when you go to events like Cosmoverse, you really find crazy people. Everybody has really nice ideas. You can feel the climate, which is very, very a young climate. Everybody has really dexes that came out, huge rewards, mechanisms that nobody thought about. While I saw Polkadot more like an institutional approach, going for the more traditional world. I don't know if I got it a bit wrong.
Chain, yeah, I mean, every chain kind of like, in a way, reflects the founders of the chain. So Polkadot is very, I met also, in the same time I met Vitalik, I also met Gavin. And when I met it back in Lugano, when we met it in Polkadot event, I remind him, and he said, "Yeah, I remember." And like I think Gavin is probably one of the 3-4 people that I completely think they're like geniuses. So Vitalik had this amazing idea about Ethereum, but it was actually, as a matter of fact, it was actually Gavin that thought about the technology, because Vitalik is a completely amazing guy, but the knowledge and the knowledge, the deep knowledge about the blockchain came because he actually wrote the yellow paper, so it was the technology part of, and he also wrote the first implementation of the Ethereum client, which was in C, and then Rust, opposed to the Go Geth, which is like the Go Ethereum part. So, and also Cosmos is really, really, kind of like the approach of Jake Won and Ethan Buchman, which I both know. So having like been at very early stage gave me access to all these people, and when I started to decide to build my own chain, I had both people send him the pre-release version and say, okay, you tried. So in 2018, when I wanted to start my own chain, I had like the two technologies, Cosmos and Polkadot, together. And one was done in Rust and the other one was done in Golang. And I created like two teams within my company, the blue team and the red team.
Oh,
okay. And I said, okay, let's try to do like a very early version. And the blue team, or red team, I don't remember, the Go team that used Cosmos, in like 1 month were able to create the first version. The one in Polkadot was more complex because it had Rust, and the only team was started learning Rust after
yeah,
1
after
month.
1 month.
So I said, okay, let's go for Cosmos because it was easy. And it's very chaotic. It's very sparkling, let's say, ecosystem. But you basically have the three things that you needed at the time, which was the SDK to build whatever you want. The IBC was not there, but was coming, so it was promised. Let's say, whatever you build at the time, remember you're going to be able to exchange. And it was like a promise that they actually fulfilled. You know, that the time they did an ICO, I didn't also got like Atom, but I bought Atom very, very, very early. And I saw a lot of Ethereum and got Atom. And the promise of the white paper from Cosmo was we're gonna do a proof of stake that works, and they did it with Tendermint. Then they did like the SDK to build your own chain, so it's just like the tools to build, and third one was the IBC, and all three things they promised, they did it. So also same thing with Polkadot, but they did it 4 years later.
4 years later.
So at this point, let me ask you, how do you see the future of blockchain? So you entered the blockchain at the start. We have a lot of people also that are reaching out to us through the academy that are just starting their journey into crypto, are willing to start their journey into crypto. For you, it's something that has been going on for almost a decade, even more than a decade.
More than a decade.
For me, it's something that has been going on for 5-6 years. For Guido, also years. But how do you see the future with blockchain? How do you see? Because obviously, Commercio.Network has the mission to bring blockchain to the real world, to the companies, trying to solve real world problems. As one of the book you wrote closes more than 1,000 use cases to use blockchain. So how do you see really the future of blockchain in the world, in everyday life, for consumers, but also for businesses?
I see it behind the scenes. So basically, the internet was the enabling technology for the web. For the web that became, for the consumer, mainly social networks, and for business and consumers, basically became e-commerce. So the internet in the 90s, for me, was something that I could build. And it was like very complex to the beginning, but then really picked up because then became the web basically became what people knows about the internet. You don't know about basically what's behind it. You don't know about server. You don't know about routers. You don't know about the cloud. You don't know about anything. What's behind the scene? You only see the web. And you see the web using basically you have the let's say the user interface. Same thing with the mobile, shorter. The most complex thing is going to be how to do the same thing the web did to the internet. So we need to find something that will do the same thing. We need to find a web for the internet, where the internet is the infrastructure and the web is the killer application. So in order to do that, we need to find a web or an app for basically the blockchain.
But actually, a lot of realities are now talking about crypto, about blockchain. No, hot topic I think is the tokenization. So the tokenization market is expected to be really incredible numbers in growth. So I speak for myself, and I see the future of crypto and the future of blockchain is going to be a part of our life. If you want it or you don't want it, it's gonna be slowly a part of our life, because it will enable to do the same things that we do now in a different way. It's part, I think, of the evolution process also of technology. So I think also that as I know what Commercio is doing around also tokenization, I think you can share with me that the tokenization and the applications of technology in real world are starting to take shape. It took a lot of years, but big companies for starters, but slowly also startups and smaller companies are starting to think about the blockchain, starting to understand about the blockchain and look at what they can really do with the blockchain.
I mean, I think that the world will be tokenized. That's it. That's something is gonna happen. Doesn't matter. I don't know when. I don't know how. Actually, I do know how because I'm working for it. But there's one sure thing: the blockchain will be part of everybody's life. The point is that maybe they won't know it.
Yeah. Okay, so now we are in the part of the podcast in which we speak about investments. So Enrico, how do you invest your money?
It's complex. I mean, I have two levels because I have like my personal investment and the company investment. For example, I talk about how much I did crypto in the past, and as a matter of fact, right now I do not own any crypto on the personal level. Why? Not because I do not believe in crypto, the opposite, but I decided for different reasons that I put all the crypto within the companies that I own. So all these the companies are actually owning the crypto I used to have. So I transfer them to the company. And the crypto, for example, with different investment strategies, are generating also cash flow for the company. So I'm using the crypto as a, let's say, wood for creating fire for
So you did
heating.
this such that the crypto could also fuel the company, the earnings from the crypto.
Yeah, because everything I did the beginning. By the way, I only invested in 4 cryptos in my life. Okay. So I told three. I told you 3 actually. I told them. The 4th one I will tell you. I invested in Bitcoin at the very beginning. Then I sold my Bitcoin and I bought Ethereum. Then I sold my Ethereum and I bought Atom. Okay. And the 4th one, it's pretty interesting. I sold my Atom and I bought Osmosis.
Okay.
So these are like the 4, and that's like the end of my personal investment were all funneled to the company. So currently I do not own any crypto on a personal level.
Do you do staking?
Within the companies, we do different strategies. Are mainly one like a small part is staking, because I believe, of course, in proof of stake, and so I believe that I have duty as a company, as a validator, to create stability of the blockchains that we own. So we stake in different blockchains, and we are validator of different blockchain like Cosmos and other blockchains. And also we do a strategy with liquidity pools. So this is like something a little bit more complex that the average person shouldn't do unless they learn how to do it. And this is very important.
Yeah, before going more in details into crypto, what about traditional financial investments?
Yeah, from the personal base, I'm only into traditional investment. And actually, all my investments are in the safest possible financial instrument that there is, which is bonds. So I only have bonds. That's it. I only have bonds. So all my money are in bonds.
Why?
High yield bonds.
Because of the...
Because I'm an entrepreneur that invests all the proceedings in the company. So I'm all in my, so the only shares that I own are my own shares, and I invest all the money in my companies, and I'm all in. But on the other hand, I need to provide a safety net for my family. So all my worth is in the bonds, super diversified, and not like ETF or other things, just like straight bond in a very diversified way, and all yields bond that have like a 3-month quarterly rewards or annual rewards. So these bonds are basically providing with cash flow.
Because they give you constant cash flow every 6 months, 1 year, so you can.
And so with these bonds, I can like decide whether or not taking profits from my companies. So if I need, I can take profits from the company. If I don't, I still have the bonds. And believe it or not, I have very, very frugal life. So I'm like really under the radar. I'm not like
you don't invest in luxury watches, fine art.
Zero. I'm like completely. I only like invest in my companies, and I invest. I'm like anti-luxury person. So I'm like absolutely very let's say low level. I the only money and then I invest luxury is food. Okay. Because my wife only buys organic stuff, so I spend 3 times the average family, but it's in food. Okay, so people do travel, do amazing vacation, buy cars. So I drive a Tesla, okay, and I do. You know why I drive a Tesla? Because because you helped me set up the solar power. Because I do not spend zero money on gas. Because I have a house, and the house has like huge solar panels, and the solar panel are enough to pay all the electricity bills. And I never went to the gas station. First, because I have a Tesla, so I don't go. They don't buy the gas. But as you know, you helped me set up the charging station, and 380, correct?
I remember, yeah.
You remember? And basically, I am 100% try to have very little impact in the environment. That's why I drive a Tesla. And I am actually, I'm the opposite of, I mean, I create more, I spend less on electricity because I produce more electricity. So I'm a carbon positive person and family. Okay, so everything is there. So, and the bonds I do, it's mostly ESG bonds that companies. So I don't know. Maybe it was for the mining, for the Ethereum mining. You felt
guilty of how much energy you consumed in those years, because I know the numbers.
Yeah, you know the numbers, and you know the karma is going to go to be against me.
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to do the rest of my life. I'm gonna be carbon positive because I burn so much electricity, which is not good. So for the karma, so I need to be, and my life is completely by choice, 100% carbon positive. So
that's really interesting, and it's nice to hear for someone like you this approach. Yeah. I wanted to go back to the fact that all your crypto are within the companies. Mm-hmm. I remember it comes to my mind MicroStrategy, for example. MicroStrategy, as we know, holds more than 250,000 bitcoins and continues to buy Bitcoin. Michael Saylor really believes in Bitcoin, and I honestly respect his choice and his idea. I think it's something really beautiful. And what you're doing is with staking is, as you said, is helping the blockchain ecosystem to maintain a stability, security, and also a growth. So, what do you think are, obviously we have a lot of people reaching out, are interested in coming into the crypto world, the crypto ecosystem, obviously because they see a lot of people making money out of it, or just out of pure curiosity. But it's not an easy world, the crypto world. The crypto world has a lot of scams, has a lot of dangers. So what do you think are the problems that an average user that doesn't know anything about crypto and decides tomorrow to start investing or starting to simply buy some crypto, what are the challenges that this technology is now facing? What are the challenges that these people will face when they start?
Well, crypto is a dark forest. And when I say dark forest, I use the idea of the three-body problem book and Netflix series. I'm very interested in science fiction. And I think that basically, it's a dark forest because there are a lot of unknowns if you start. So everything looks bling bling, everything looks very nice, but unfortunately there's a lot of scams. So I would say there are three major problems in crypto. The first one is the scams, because it's easy money, and it's easy money for people to steal. Easy come, easy go. That's what's crypto. You make a lot of money and you can lose a lot of money very, very fast. So if you don't have the knowledge and you do not know how to distinguish a scam from a legitimate project, then you are in trouble. Why? Because the scams looks way much better than the legitimate problem. So whenever you have like a very interesting project, doesn't look as good as a scam, because the scam always promise, overpromise and under-deliver, or basically zero deliver, because the people will take your money. That's it. So they promise you a lot of gains, and the beginning you have a lot of gains, and then you have nothing because you lose 100% of the money that you have put in. So the number one would be the scams. The second part is the, let's say, the technology, because right now there is not a simple way to get in and get out of crypto, and the only choice is to go with the centralized exchange. And that is a problem by itself, because the centralized exchanges basically are the same as banks, because they're basically keeping your own crypto. You think you own the crypto, but the crypto that you own are not in your wallet, and are on the opposite, are in the wallet of basically people that are using the thing.
As we say, not your keys, not your cheese.
Absolutely, that's it. So that's the major thing. And the third part is that you have the possibility to get your keys, but having those keys has, like, having great power comes with a lot of responsibility. That Spider-Man quote. Yeah. It's very true for the crypto world, because if you have your own keys, then you have to keep them safe. And this is another level of complexity. So with these three things in mind, either you approach the blockchain and the crypto world learning at your own pace, or whatever, using the right tools, but definitely you need to approach having like knowledge, the basic knowledge. If you do not have the basic knowledge, either you getting screwed by projects, or you're getting like ripped off by the exchange that will lose your money, or third, basically you lose your money because you mishandled the keys, you lost the keys, as I did. Not as I did, but you're gonna do it at the very beginning. So I learned this in the hard way, and you need basically to really get into the blockchain and the crypto world having some knowledge before.
So studying is fundamental. We can
If
say.
you
Like
do
in
not
everything
study,
else.
I mean, it's easy to make the money, apparently, but it's actually not. It's
No.
hard because you make money on the crypto world only if you apply yourself and you dedicate yourself in having the basic knowledge of what you need to know. It's like you cannot go in the mountain and climbing without the basic training, okay? Or maybe you cannot, let's say better, you cannot parachute without knowing how to basically learn how to land safely.
Absolutely. So I would, because you are part of RIV, you're part of the project. Obviously, we are focusing a lot on RIV Wallet. RIV Wallet, I think, aims and actually is doing what solving the problems you just highlighted. So the user interface is getting really simple for any user to start buying crypto, even investing in crypto. Obviously, you need the knowledge to do it. That's why always, as RIV, we created also the academy to be able to assist and teach people about it. But also, as you said, a really important part is the fact that we are decentralized. So not being a centralized exchange comes with some responsibility, the private key. So I think that RIV Wallet is going to bring a tool for everyone, and mostly for our students also, on how to use crypto, in a simple way. Everybody can start investing in crypto without having to do crazy developer stuff, sometimes even taking complex courses around coding to do simple transactions, but offering the highest level of ownership and also security around the crypto world.
Yeah, I think that RIV Wallet, of course, it's a work in progress and will get better. But the idea of doing like a wallet like that is to enable the other 99% of the world to use crypto, because right now the only people that are using safely crypto are the people that have like their own wallet, which are very complex, and you have to use a lot of technology, and you to be like almost like only a developer to safely use it. So I think that RIV Wallet is trying and will eventually get better and better, because the more user will use and more feedback you will see, and so there's no such a thing as a perfect first
of course.
thing. So you need to improve, and I think I see a lot of potential on the RIV Wallet because of the goal, because the point, the idea of RIV Wallet is to bring crypto to non-crypto people, and this is like something that has not been successfully done, in my opinion.
What do you
before.
like the most about the RIV Wallet?
I think that he basically the onboarding process is very straightforward. The fact that provides you a way to switch and swap one crypto to the other in a very let's say very easy way. And you can do like fiat on ramping or ramping also, but I think the most important stuff is that basically provides you within the wallet the actual knowledge you need to get and progress in the way. So the fact that the wallet has also the academy inside, it's very, and it's something that works both way, because you have the wallet that provides you a way to test what you learn, but within the wallet you have a way to learn. So there is like it's the perfect combination. So there's no one single thing. I think it's just like an orchestra.
Yeah.
an orchestra, you have like many instruments play together, and the RIV wallet has like all these many, and they produce the sound. So it's not like a single element, but the fact that all these elements work in a way. And right now, of course, we are like doing simple tunes, and the more the more like the wallet will evolve, will become to do a perfect sonata at the end. Right
Of
now,
course,
we're doing
I mean, all projects have roadmaps, of
Yeah.
course. So we
Yeah.
have a very important
very
roadmap
strict
and
roadmap and
for our
focus on
product.
the user.
I
Yeah.
think this is also a very important part.
Yeah. And if you focus the user, you will eventually win, because as I said at the beginning, what is the marketing? Number one is not try to sell better market. The role of market is to find what people want and make it the easiest. So if people want to enter in the crypto world, making a RIV wallet the easiest tool to get into crypto, I think we're like 90% of the marketing is done.
Because this is the problem, like wallets are difficult to use.
Super difficult.
If
I mean,
you're not,
you need
an
to
engineer,
you need to install an extension, then you have to set up. This is like a nightmare for the average user, and this is not working. And so I think that the approach is to do a kind of like first a little bit of knowledge about what you're doing. Then once you understood what's going on, you download the wallet, and once you have the wallet, you can expand your knowledge and start like going through the forest. But it's a dark forest, so you need to know how to really
create a path.
Yeah, create a path.
I think that going towards the end of today's episode, we always try to understand what are the suggestions someone like you, with your experience and the success that we cover today, has to give us advice to younger generation, people that aspire to become entrepreneurs themselves, that maybe are trying and are always searching some good advice. So I would start with what is a book that you would advise younger generation as a must read to be able to understand maybe things that they don't teach you in school, things that you need to read.
Well, I read so many books in my life that it's very difficult to pick one. And during different period, like if you ask me like this, like few years ago, I would go like for the startup manual. And right now I'm like probably the one book, the book that I'm really, it's Humans by Harari. And why? Because like gives a perspective how the human, the sapiens, our species evolved. And this is like taught me one interesting lesson that basically Homo sapiens have always been moving from one place to the other. And this is what's happening in the world. So trying to stop people from moving, it's pointless. So everybody, and I'm doing something which is of course anti-politically maybe contested, but I don't think that like trying to stop people from moving is gonna work. Why? Because I've been doing it since the very beginning. And if you read that book, then is going Sapiens, basically is going completely to change your perspective of what's happening now, because you read exactly how happened in during the history of Homo sapiens, and basically you understand that what we are trying to do, that it's completely pointless.
Very interesting.
And what is an advice you would give to a younger generation? You gave a lot of advice to me, obviously, but maybe it was a bit more tailored because you knew me very well, and we got to know each other very well in all those days we stayed together, and we talked a lot. But what would be a line of advice that maybe you received and you think that is correct to pass on to people that are trying to find their road, or are struggling also in creating their own path?
I would say do what you did. So try to find somebody that help you. So find a mentor. It's probably the best part. Why? Because the mentor is somebody that already did the path. And while it's not wise to completely follow the mentor, but the mentor provides you the things that cannot like teach you what to do in the future, but he can teach you what not to do. So it's the mentor is somebody that can like send you in the right direction and kind of like tell you the very bad things you should avoid within the dark forest, which is the business. And probably it's not advisable to completely follow the mentor because he was maybe successful in a previous decade and the rules are not applied. But the things that you can learn from a mentor, from somebody that's been successful, is to learn where he went wrong. So find somebody that was very successful and ask them what they did wrong.
I also agree. I think it's very important to understand what not to do so that you don't make mistakes.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but
very important.
and if you can avoid the mistakes, and you will do because you will do your own mistakes, but if you can avoid the mistake that other people did, that's better because you're not like you're finding new mistakes to make and they're your own, and you're gonna pass that on to the next person that you're gonna do if you become successful.
That's a great piece of advice. Okay, I think we reached the end of today's chat. It was really interesting, and you had a lot of stories to share, and we really appreciated. Obviously, you're not always here in Dubai. You come often to visit us when we have tough problems to solve around.
Whenever I'm needed, I come.
But
I'm the wolf.
really thank you for being with us today, and we will have you on maybe in the future with some of our guests. And,
absolutely.
Thank you, Enrico.
I will. Thank you very much for having me. It was like a pleasure talking, and thanks for the audience.
Thank you.